Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. You know I'm super excited this week. President Trump won. It's a good thing, right? So listen, in response to all the fear and gnashing and crying, I've reached out this week, decided to talk to business owners, real estate investors, real estate agents, bankers, just to see what are their reactions this week and what you can do to help yourself. Today, I'm pleased to bring Abdul S. Muhammad. He is an Etsy professional, nice chunk of change he made off Etsy. He has Mr. How to Find Your Passion. He's on YouTube. He has tons of videos you can check out with plenty of great information, great commentary. He is out there somewhere in the Midwest, but we're going to let him tell you that part of his story. But he's actually been to Hong Kong and he's visited other places. And so he also served in our military. So I really would love you guys to pull this one in. And if you have any questions, definitely hit up in the chat. I'll try to check them out while we're talking. How are you doing today?
Hey, Erica, how's it going?
Doing great. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, in short, basically went to UNLV, major in international business, been to China a couple of times, Thailand, Nepal, all over Central America. Did a lot of sales across the United States, wrote a book called How to Find Your Passion Now. As you said, I dibbled and dabbled with Etsy, basically did a six-figure level, eBay. Now I'm dealing with Amazon, taking marketing certifications, just anything business-wise, to be honest, Erica.
So I have to check with you. Are you okay since Tuesday night? I haven't called you, and I just didn't know if you had made it through the aftermath of President Trump.
You know what? I've made it. And I'm going to honestly say now that nothing is going to change as far as what we can do for ourselves, as far as business. Nothing is going to change.
So what you're telling me is, if you own a business, your business is still going today, even though Trump won?
Yeah, he didn't close it up. I mean, in January, I don't expect, him to come in and seize all my equipment or anything, It's going to be business as usual.
So what you're telling me is there's still great opportunity out here in America, even for somebody named Muhammad.
Yes, even for somebody named Muhammad. Erica, I just did a Facebook Live, and I said, one of the best educations a person can have, and I know that you're well-traveled yourself, is traveling. Because one thing it teaches you is that when you look at all these other countries out here, even though America, with all its imperfections, it's still probably one of the most powerful countries in the world. And any person that's breathing and is a citizen, even people that are not citizens, basically can start their own business. And a lot of countries can't say that.
That's very true. It's our family does a corporate travel every year. About 30 of us go on cruises for the past 12, 13 years. And the funny thing is we go to so many countries and we see people who look like us, who are stuck. They're stuck in labor, street cleaning, maids, not that many doctors, not that many nurses. America is a country where you can pretty much, the limit is on yourself. Dr. Ben Carson's mother could not read and was a maid, but Dr. Ben Carson became one of the best surgeons in American history.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a country full of opportunity.
I mean, look at Obama's story. Obama's story is he was raised by a single mom. Dad went to Kenya, and he graduated from Harvard with a bachelor's, went to Harvard Law School, and was elected president of the United States. I mean, we have so many stories in this country like that.
What I wanted to reach out with people like yourself this week is to show people that, if you have a plan, your plan is probably better than any plan Trump or Hillary could provide for you.
Totally. Because you're talking about one person. How can one person help so many people? But the problem is, it's like if you're sitting outside trying to catch a bus for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden the bus doesn't come, pretty soon the light bulb is going to go off. Well, maybe I should just catch a ride or, get in my own car and drive to where I have to go. And that's the way you got to look at this presidency. A president's job is not to come in and save your life. That's your own job. And if people spent more time doing those type of things, we would be an even stronger country.
I would just love to share. I love that because I want to share. When I first moved to Texas, within 2-3 days, I had over 7 job offers when I first came here the first time.
Mhm.
And I was working at an apartment complex that had a lot of Section 8. And I was speaking with a young lady with 2 kids, and all she had ever done was go to college. She had a master's degree in human resources. And I said, man, you can get hired at 50,000, 60,000 anywhere. I mean, HEB grocery store, Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere. You're going to come out here making bank. She said, first thing out of her mouth, she said is, well, if Texas wasn't in a recession, I think that would be true. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've seen anything about Texas, are we in a recession?
Oh my gosh. Here's what people don't understand, Erica. Here's a quiz for yourself and the followers. When was the most time that there were more millionaires created in American history? You know what time frame that happened when most of the millionaires in America was created?
If I'm not mistaken, it was the Great Depression. But I may be wrong.
No, you're right. Great Depression. So I mean, a depression, if you're business savvy and you save money, that's like Black Friday for people who have money, because things are on sale. You know, like people, when the election was going on, they were like, oh my gosh, the stock market is going whatever. Keep your money in the stock market. Now things are going to go on sale. You know, you have to become more knowledgeable when it comes to finance, when it comes to anything business-wise or anything in life. So when you do this, you don't react like this. You don't play this game of like the panic and everything's fine. There's going to be millionaires created when Trump is in office, probably even more. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong.
So I'm going to hit on 2 points. One that I think is hilarious to me is that the iPhone was created in the last recession. The the things that people are like, the recession, oh my God, yes, we are probably due to go in a recession, but you're absolutely right. Harvey Dent just wrote a book called The Greatest Fire Sale in America. He's like, the next recession will be the greatest fire sale. And to add to that is, right now on the West Coast in Vancouver, 80% of the buyers are Chinese foreigners. In huge parts of California, I think California, Washington, Seattle, Texas, North Carolina, they've come in and actually bought the whole Smithfield branches of farms and companies. They've spent about $5.6 billion. Now, if you don't know what's going on in China right now, they have about 20 brand new huge planes they just built. Why? Because they're coming to see the fire sale. There's a reason. If you go to Jacksonville, Florida, it used to be a very high African-American population. Now it's a more mixed. 6 and 10. It's the highest Latino home ownership city in the nation. Now, a city that used to be called historically Black, which it still mostly is, has the highest Latino home ownership in the nation. Why is that? Because they can come and see the opportunity.
Yeah.
So my point, and go ahead.
No, finish it up.
I was going to say, what I was going to lead into is saying, in the United States, what you're saying is anyone can come here and start a business. Julio and Hector start pushing a lawnmower day 2 they get here. They find a lawnmower in a car. So the numbers are right now, 1 in 10 Asians own a business, 1 in 34 whites, 1 in 54 Hispanics, and 1 in 5 Blacks. And if you notice, out of 14 million Asians, they had the lowest voter turnout of the whole election. And what are some of your thoughts on those numbers?
Okay, I said somebody should write a book saying, what do Asians do from 9 to 5? If you just go out in your city and you see Asian people, a lot of times you won't see, I mean, like preferably maybe Chinese or Japanese. Let's say this culture. You won't see them bagging groceries. You won't see them, hey, sir and ma'am, what would you like today? They're in Chinese restaurants. They're in business. They're in import export. They're in these type of business. They're in business. They're opening, stores in African American neighborhoods. They're doing business. Even if you go to a Chinese restaurant, I don't mean to be stereotyping, but this is true. You see the kids doing homework, and you can't tell me you haven't went to a Chinese restaurant and seen a small kid doing homework inside the restaurant. They basically live, eat, breathe inside there. They're watching cartoons inside the restaurant. But what are they doing? Their parents are thinking, one day this is going to be yours. And in Chinese restaurants, there is no remodeling. It's the same freaking furniture from 30 years ago when it opened, because it's the overhead is low. And then either they will give that to the child, or they'll sell it to another Chinese person that will come, or even a Vietnamese or whatever person that will come in and take it over, right? So they're business savvy people, and in America, we're known as being consumers. We're not business savvy. We're spending. And then, when you see these problems happen in African American communities, they're saying, oh, we want to burn these stores down. Nobody helped us. Well, one, they opened up a store because you needed a store, because maybe your grocery store was 10 miles away and you could literally walk down to your corner store. It was a need. Why didn't you do it? There's opportunity all around us, but we just walk around with blinders on, as if we don't know it exists.
Absolutely. I know a Vietnamese kid who came here on a student visa, and he owns a little corner store. He didn't even have gas. He doesn't even have gas. The pump's outside, but it costs about 20, 30 grand to get, to get your gas. Mm-hmm. Like your first come around, they don't play with you. You're going to give them their money up front. So he just had some young black guy in the front being security, and I went in to make change, and I'm just laughing because I'm like, after I finished talking to him for about 20 minutes, like he actually took the time to talk to me. He actually know him well now, but at the time I was so amazed that he came to America on a student visa, goes to class, comes in there day in and day out, day in and day out, and he opened it with a $20,000 credit card.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, it's run down. So what? I'll get it."
That's smart.
Yeah, totally smart.
When I was in the military, I was looking for a second job, and I wanted to work at this video store. And I didn't know who owned it. It was close to the house. I said, hey, I'm going to go in and work in there. And a Chinese guy came in, and I felt like he was looking into my soul, because he told me his story. And I was like, holy crap. He said he came to this country. He lived in a house with 9 people. He had 3 jobs. What did he do? And some people are like, oh my gosh, I'm not staying with people. He cut his costs right away. When you're living in a house with 9 people, you're not paying much for rent. That's the equivalent of going to get an office building and sharing it with 9 other people, right? So he's paying maybe $100, if that, $50 for rent. And then he's working all the time, so he's not sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, it's so tight. We only have 2 bathrooms. He don't have time to think. All he's doing is working and saving, working and saving. He used that money and he opened up a video store. He went into business. He had the dream, the vision. I'm gonna sacrifice now, and one day later, one day down the road, I'm going to buy my own business. And that's what he did. And here he is interviewing me, an American who's looking for a job. And we could learn a lot of lessons with immigrants who come to this country. We're so busy trying to kick them out and saying, oh, whatever. But if you really just paid attention, they can teach us a lot. They're business savvy people.
So Korean culture, which is funny about this, Korean men have the lowest college enrollment here in the United States. They pretty much they turn 18 and they start a business. And I was in a military town, and a lot of people had the white dad or black dad and Korean mom. They turned 18, mom showed them how to use a business credit card, how to open an office. And for a long time I thought, how has this guy never had a job since high school? He's always owned his own business. He literally was selling things on Amazon, eBay, and Craigslist for years. For years. Like that's been his real business. The front of the store is like almost like a pawn shop looking thing, but that's been his real behind the scenes, using the back of the store, shipping, packaging, mailing every day. And that was already a mindset. That was like, you're not even going to waste money at school. I'm going to show you how to take care of yourself day one. And many people will say, well, Erica, they don't give us bank loans. They don't give us this. I've had white people say, well, I'm not a minority, so I don't get bank loans. I mean, that little white lady literally tell me that, and I said, well, do you have a credit card? Well, yeah, I got a $20,000 credit card, but I don't want to run up my credit card. There is your capital to start your business. They don't have to set a special bank loan for you. You have to decide what to do. There was a survey done because they were saying, well, banks are discriminatory against, African-American Latinos. Well, what happened all of a sudden in the past 10 years? A bunch of barbershop and hair salons opened up and car washes. And then those same people who own those now own multiple things of real estate, multiple other businesses. They knew the bank was only going to give loans to certain sellable businesses. So yeah, they took the loan, but then they went and opened their other thing they were going to do anyways. So you have to be smart and you have to use your money wisely. And so I love when I go to towns and the barbershop man owns everything in town. Why?
Yeah.
Because it really wasn't about the barbershop. It was about owning other things.
Mm-hmm. You know, Erica, one of the reasons why I went to China was because of LA, what I saw. My buddy used to invest with the Koreans. Now, a lot of people think that if you go downtown LA and you're looking to buy wholesale goods, they think they're dealing with the Chinese, but really they're South Koreans. And what they do is they pull all their money together and they buy these 20-foot containers of a product. And if you go to certain parts of LA, you will literally pass by every store that has like a blue pin like this. And then over here they have handkerchiefs. And over here they have a hat wholesale store. All they're doing is saying, hey, you have 5,000? Okay, I have 5,000. Let's get 20 people together. That's $100,000. Let's buy this hat for $1. We're going to hold, well, maybe even $1. Let's say 30 cents, because the more you buy, the cheaper it is. And they would wholesale these things to people, and they will flip their money 10, 15 times of what they paid for it, and they became millionaires doing this. And they were their own bank by just pooling everything together, using their resources, and selling this stuff. And it happens over and over and over again.
So very true. Wholesale now, you have the opportunity with Amazon FBA to get into wholesale for $5,000. Before, 10, 15 years ago, it was 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand to get the real good deals. And you had to go get the whole storage unit down there. I mean, it was huge. Now, what people are not realizing is so much is at the tip of the axis of their finger. I have friends who went in 2-3 guys into buying a house, and everybody said, that's stupid. That's dumb. And the guys are like, well, whatever, who cares what you think, right? And I remember laughing because every single guy got married and bought another house. And then they're going to buy another house. I have girlfriends who bought a house in college with their student loan refund check, then bought another house when they graduated because they had an offer letter saying they were going to make $50,000 a year. What happens is when people pay attention and the opportunity is right in the front of their face. Prime example I'm going to give is Brooklyn. When people were like, oh, it's 1988, it's gone, it's damaged, it's terrible. 1995, they were like, oh, it's terrible. 2007, oh, it's terrible. But it was cheap. And people started coming over there. $50,000 for the brownstones, $100,000 for the brownstones, $200,000 for the brownstones. Now those same brownstones are $5 million.
Wow.
And you don't live there no more. Because you didn't take advantage.
Yep.
There's a thinking that's going on out there is get in where you can, right? Even where you are. I know you're somewhere in the Midwest. I just finished talking to a guy who's from Madison, Wisconsin, the edges of Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And he bought up all these properties for $50,000 that already had renters in them, been living in them for a long time, and the renters weren't never going to leave. They loved that town. They weren't leaving that town. That was their town. They didn't care who bought that property. And then here comes this 30-year-old guy buying them for $50,000, $10,000 down.
Wow.
There's opportunity wherever you are. So
everywhere. And it's endless in the United States of America. But, I'm going to give you a quick story. I walked into my uncle's house, and he had about freaking 12 dogs. And as soon as I walked in, I'm like, oh my gosh, it smells like dog in here. Like, this is crazy. Like, clean this place up. After 30 minutes, I no longer smell that dog smell. What had happened? I became comfortable with the smell. As American people, we have become comfortable with what we have, and we think we have nothing. We don't see the opportunity. But immigrants who come, and this is like 100 times better than their country, all they see is gold. Is the Oz, gold mansions. They see gold. And they looking at different glasses than we're looking at. We see nothing but like doom and gloom. And that's why we can't move ahead.
Dude, I call a series of videos, I called it America is still the golden ticket. It's still the golden ticket. And moving helps you see that it's a golden ticket. What happened? 2 examples. When people come to Texas, 150 people come to Dallas today, 150 people come to Austin today. and these are people moving, 200 to 500 move to Houston a day. What happens within a year? A lot of these people move back. What has happened? They go, my town I just left was gold. Like, it was cheap, it was affordable. They made a bunch of money while they're in Texas, and they go, peace, back out, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because people are whining, oh, there's people moving here, but a lot of them are moving back because they
Yes.
realize how affordable it was, the opportunity that they thought was not there. Oh, I see it now. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is, when you have people come to America, they're looking around like a $25,000 house. That's amazing. Now, people that live in that area are going to go, that's a piece of poopy house.
you know, but Erica, the thing is, I've learned that bad news is actually good news. When you hear the Detroit is failing and is going bankrupt, the savvy business person is like, ding, time to buy. Let's get it together. The conversations are like this. When then a lot of people are just like, oh my gosh, what's going on with the government? They're corrupt, and they spend all this chatter and all this negative talk and doom and gloom, and none of them take action. Meanwhile, the other people are like, Black Friday. That's the real Black Friday, to be honest. The people that are rushing toward everything else that everybody else is running from.
Prime example is my friend Lisa Phillips was talking about $35,000 to $50,000 houses, and she was talking about it early, and people were bashing her, saying she was stupid, and they were pieces of crap houses. Now, a couple years later, there's about 5 or 6 guys running around going, this is the gold mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't just one person, it was multiple people seeing the opportunity.
Yep.
And this poor woman got ran through the ringer for years about her buying these cheap houses, but she was like, I bought a house for 14 grand, put about 10 grand in it, I rent it out for $9.25 a month. I don't care what y'all say. So, I mean, she's in the DC area. And so it's like, it just cracks me up that people overlook. And I think what happens is we don't move. That's a really big key is military people. I'm a military mom. And so we moved around a bunch, but it gave me an opportunity to see, oh, it could be a lot worse, or it could be a lot better.
Yeah.
It gives you that incentive to go, oh, I can change. I'm not a tree. I'm not stuck here. I can move and create my own destiny. And I think we have a lot of Americans going, oh, I'm in this little town, I just can't get out. And their town's like 300,000. It's a big old town. But they're like, I can't get anywhere. I can't get any job. And the thing of it is, there are jobs out there paying $50 an hour, $30 an hour, $20 an hour, but it will require you to get some skills.
Yeah. You got to get those skills.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny. That's how you fix America. It isn't by the person coming in, the president, because the president can only do so much. But the citizens can go out and buy a property that doesn't look so beautiful and fix it up and manicure the yard and put some paint on it and make it look like a better neighborhood. I mean, Brooklyn, the same place you were talking about earlier. Brooklyn is actually a nice place to live. You know, Camden, New Jersey. I remember I was on a Vans Warped Tour, and I was literally walking through the bank with a bag of money, like clenching it and looking at everybody like, Camden used to be the murder capital of the world. So I'm just like, of the nation. So I'm just like, is this safe? But now you can't even recognize Camden. People went in, bought those cheap houses and did them up, because a lot of it was old architecture, and fixed it up. And now it's a desirable place to live.
And the sad part is, they're going to be townies who lived there all those years and go, it's too expensive for me now. It's no fun. I got locked out. Or, you know, I mean, even here in Austin, Texas, I'm here in Texas. And prime example, I know young ladies who for 10 years been here. 10 years ago, there was a condo or a house for $80,000 and they didn't want it then. Now that same house is $150,000, $250,000, $300,000, and they're out. They're priced out. And they'll tell you story after story of where, you know, I remember when it was $80,000. And they've been living in there. One girl lived in her same apartment for 8 years.
Wow.
At the same apartment. And she's seen every house around her go up. There's one young lady who did buy 8 years ago, and she has $150,000 in equity. And she's like, I don't even know what to do with it. So many people are like, I can tell you, but she don't know. So it's okay. We'll leave her alone.
And I almost moved to Austin because I like the way that Austin moves. But my wife wasn't having it. I think she probably thought I'd be on 6th Street partying a little too much, whatever kind of thing. So she wasn't having nothing, nothing to do with it. But when I was there, I was like, man, there's a lot of people moving here. There's celebrities living there. It just seemed everything was right with Austin.
We have 28,000 open jobs right now.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people come and say, oh, Erica, some of these are low paying. Some of these are $11 an hour, or some of these are not that big of a deal. But that's the problem. We have too many Americans. They're trying to make all their absolute money from their job and not think of ways to invest in the money, save the money. I used to work at Papa John's in Georgetown, Texas. Every single Papa John's driver in there owned their own house and had a paid off car.
Wow.
So when people
they were using was they using that second income to pay for those things?
Yeah, or they had a spouse. Some of them had a spouse, some of them had girlfriends. But a lot of times the houses on the edges of town were cheaper for longer. USDA loans, no money down, no money closing. They were like, I'm a pizza delivery driver. If I collect and show you all my tips for 1 year, if I'm making $3 to $4 grand every month, and I just show you that, and I get into this house, I can claim less taxes every year after if I want to. But it was the key. They knew to buy in. Instead of always trying to depend on, well, I can find a cheap apartment. No, they got a house. They rented the other rooms out. I mean, they paid off their cars. I mean, the things that it cracked me up because it was the edge of Austin, but it was simple thinking.
Yeah, simple, stupid. And these are the conversations, like I said, that help change this country. Because a lot of people are just, they're afraid. They're talking about things that don't even exist. They're creating these horror stories, and Trump is going to get in office and nothing is going to change. You may see him come on the news about some crazy things that he said, but business-wise, it's business as usual.
Oh, there's just commercials. America's open for business. Yeah. Or the commercial they had for New York. New York's open for business. And I'm like, well, New York, stop being tripping, and y'all still be open for business. But I noticed how I'll give an example. One of my clients, he was just stressing. He wanted to have a business credit card. He wanted to have a business account. And so he's running around doing Uber, Lyft, and Instacart. And this is right before they kicked out of Uber out of Austin, right? Well, they didn't kick them out. They left for whatever arguments you want to have about it. And I said, listen, this is what you do. You put this account over here and you call it Steve's whatever. Steve Services, Steve, Works or whatever, incorporated. And he did. And he has the little, all his deposits from Instacart, all his deposits from Lyft and Uber go into that account. So it was showing $3,000 going into his business account every month. That kid made out like a fat rat. He literally has $100,000 in business lines of credit and bought real estate. So now he's not really even driving Uber that much. He has 3 or 4 duplexes at this point. I think 3 in San Antonio, 1 here that he lives in. But it changed his life because he was able to just a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of focus. And I think what's happening in America now is we're always talking about there's so many angry white men. What happened? No, I think they're realizing they might have to go get another trade.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that?
Yeah. It's kind of the spoiled kids mentality. I guess you can say, because maybe you've been comfortable for so long, because that's the word, comfortable. Because I had a good friend that always looked at a job. If you ask him, say, man, you got a great job, everything's good. And he was like, man, look, I could lose my job tomorrow. So he never lived like his job was going to last 20 years, which is why he saved like a madman. And that's what people should do when they're in these jobs. If you got a good job, great. But the best time to save money is when things are going good. Put that money to the side and invest in other things. Don't just bet on that, kind of thing. And that's where people go wrong. And then they caught with their pants down.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the average job now is 2.5 years.
Yeah.
At a career person. So that's really short. That's a really short time frame. And if you felt like that was going to be the case, I think more people would save. I think more people would invest. But they got to know to invest, right? 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, when I hear paycheck to paycheck, the first thing I think of is I know people who, I'm trying to be nice, they come home, they watch TV, they complain about the situation, but they're not willing to go do another job. They're like, I'm too tired for that. Or they're not willing to read some books. It's not until a big crash happens, then they have to, they're like forced to. So I think that's kind of what we're having in America now. Some people are forced to look at their their what they're doing with their income and what they're doing with their retirement, especially Social Security people. When they start talking about that Social Security, people are like, I paid in. I'm like,
Yeah.
What you do privately? What you do with your side money?
Mm. You know what? I hear this I don't have time thing a lot, but right now, the ninth wonder of the world is the internet. Say the eighth wonder is compound interest, but it's the internet because you can literally have a client in China, the UK, anywhere. But then most people roadblock will be, well, I don't know anything about the internet. Well, learn, gain some skills. You don't literally have to go. You don't have to go outside your home anymore, really, and get that second job. You can create an eBay business today. If you don't know what to sell, find out what other people are selling. Find out how to find what to sell. These skills are all available at your fingertips, and and by pulling out your wallet and paying a little money. But you can't get comfortable. And I want to say this, and I'll give it back to you, is that people change for two reasons, and two reasons only: inspiration or desperation. But most people change for desperate situations. When they find out they have 6 months to live, when their job is told them that you got 2 weeks and then we're letting go of everyone, then people start making decisions and changes.
Oh, that's very true. I think it takes, it's like even when I see towns that knew of factories leaving, I'll give an example, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they're like, oh, the black people, why are they tripping? Those areas were the last to lose some of those factories. So a lot of black people in Milwaukee, maybe 5 years ago, were still working at a factory. They were still working. They still had their factory job. Now, common sense would say, if factory jobs are leaving everywhere else up north, aren't they going to leave Milwaukee too? So I think we have a lot of Americans who they're dedicated to a town. They're like, my daddy lived here, my granddad lived here. I'm sticking with this town, even if there's no jobs, right? And even when people say there's no jobs, that's when you can go on the internet. That's when you can do Amazon FBA. That's when you could do a lot of the work from home stuff. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but the complaint has been when people talk on the phone, they can't understand the person, right? So they started pulling a lot more jobs back to America to do what do you call it? American Express.
Yep.
What is that called? It's called Marriott, and several others have started doing these work from home positions. And they'll send a person to check by your house, make sure you got a little separate room and a computer and your headset, and you can work several hours a day for $12 from your home. Don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
Very popular. And people still are like, well, I don't type fast. Well, go take a class. I mean, it's like, and this is the thing. I talked to this guy about transportation jobs. He's like, oh, transportation. No, I don't want to drive a big rig. I said, you can just drive a UPS truck locally and make 80 grand a year.
Yeah.
Like, you're overthinking it.
Totally. And while they're doing that, actually learn a skill while they're driving, and put something on their phone and put an earpiece in and listen while you're doing that. It's so funny for us to be the most powerful country and supposedly one of the most diverse people-wise. We only speak one language. Like I know a guy from Uzbekistan who spoke 7 different languages. So what? You can't really understand somebody, whatever, or this person is speaking Spanish. Stop living in the damn comfort zone and learn how to speak another language. How is that going to hurt you?
Oh yes, I mean, if you see anything in California or Houston, even this one's even funny. Even Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, they have some Chinese banks, Latino banks, and I think a Japanese bank. But people are like, oh my God, they're coming to America with their own banks. I'm like, of course. And I'm like, right now, I'm in the process of learning Spanish. Why am I having to learn Spanish right now? Is because Austin, Texas, a lot of the painters are Spanish. And the other day I was trying to communicate and could not. And it was like an impasse. Like they ain't learning English and I wasn't learning Spanish. And so I just realized, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person because I wanted to make money for Grandview Painting, my company, and I'm going to learn Spanish. Now, I'm not necessarily going to use it at a job place that kind of way, but I'd rather know it and have the option, right, to work with somebody. There's just opportunity there.
I'm just a fan of learning, whether it's language, whatever it is. And that's nothing. People have became like, allergic to learning these days. Nobody wants to learn anything. They say the average American only reads one book after high school. You know, so I'm like, look, if you want to be a stronger nation, it starts right in your home with what you're doing every day, what you're teaching your kids every day. You know, a president can't change it. We have to change it, and be not so prideful to think that we, you know, how dare you say we should change something? Well, that's what needs to happen.
Well, yeah, I think the statistic is immigrants are twice as likely to become millionaires than the average U.S. born American. Foreign born blacks, however they want to say that, make 30% more yearly than U.S. born blacks. I think you also have, I think it's 620 out of 100,000 legal immigrants start a business every month. And that's according to the United States government because of bank loans and those things.
Yeah.
I was at the hospital before a couple weeks ago, and I just was an emergency. Weird thing happened. I was in there for 4 days. I will tell you right now, 5 of my nurses that came in across those 4 days were all from Africa, Nigerian, Ethiopian. One girl was from Ghana. The 3 different doctors that came to see me for different things to just try to see what it was, 2 were from Ghana and 1 was from Nigeria.
Wow.
And their bedside manner was a little rough, but it was funny because it was like, I knew in their minds they were thinking what I was thinking, like, you know, oh, wow, this hospital is full of Africans, right? You know, and for them, you know, I didn't want them to think I was some lazy American. So when the guy asked me what I do, I said, I have a business. And then it was like, oh, good. And so it was just very funny because they're not letting a stereotype stop them.
No.
They don't care what you think about them. They're going to come get that high paying job and live a good life. And the one lady was building a whole house back in Nigeria. And she was telling me that her $2,000 a month she'll get in retirement or something from her different 401ks is like $20,000 a month over there. So she's built this house on the side for the past 5 years. And her husband's like, we're in America now. We ain't never going back. We ain't going back to retire there. But I have a feeling she will visit it often, you know, even though she built this house. So,
and that's the thing, because I know some Senegalese guys that had that same concept. They would come over here and do business. You know, some would sell, like you go to New York, they'll sell, you know, on street corners and stuff like that. And they would send a majority of the money back. And I like how they build their houses in Africa too. They don't just say, hey, let me go into a bank and get $100,000 loan. They build it in phases. So they'll say like, oh, it costs $6,000 to lay the foundation. All right, there are 6. All right, now to build the floor, the first level is going to cost this. They save that amount of money up. Boom. And by the time the house is done, it's paid for.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
Belize
so smart.
too. If you get a chance to go visit Belize, you'll love it. They'll take cinder blocks because, you know, it's a tropical environment, so they don't want things inside to warp. So they'll do the outside cinder blocks, then come back around with the nice decorative brick or whatever. So it's like they build it a little bit at a time, cinder block by cinder block. That's so crazy. I would think another example of that is just the thought process that they're saving money. It's really important.
Yeah.
I think, you know, average American, they spend till the account's empty. Like, oh dang, now my account's empty. You know?
You know, it's so funny. The foreigner thinks, here comes some money, where can I put it? Like investment wise. The American thinks, here comes some money, what can I buy? Car, clothes, go out to eat, you know, just things that give you no return on your investment. That's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah, oh, I agree.
You know?
I mean, when I hear people say their parents don't own a house and they're like 30 years old, like they're an adult and their adult parents still don't own a house. And I said, well, what they gonna do for retirement? Senior citizen home? Woo! That's expensive.
Oh, don't even get me started there, because you know how much those cost a month.
Oh, those are I mean, right now, I've been talking with Esther L. and Andre Hatchett. I'll link them below somewhere. But they basically have been showing a lot of things where you go in the city planning. And a lot of city planners, like, to get economic development, they'll ask, we're looking for home health care centers, we're looking for memory care centers because of Alzheimer's, we're looking for we have buildings that are owned by the city, come buy them, you got 18 months to fix it. You know, the city will almost give you the money to fix it. So Esther got 3 houses in St. Louis Missouri, not, there's St. Louis, Illinois, St. Louis, Missouri, which is crazy, but it's St. Louis, Missouri, and she got 3 houses, and the city had young Black kids working on them because they were part of a group learning how to do trades, how to fix houses.
Wow.
So I think it's really important for people. It's a lot of free opportunity out there if you're looking.
In my book club, we were talking about assisted living. I want to say assisted living, like these apartments that they buy before they go to the nursing home. Mm-hmm. And we're getting numbers back like $5,000 to $10,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So some people have to sell their home just in order to afford it, or you go to one of those Medicaid nursing homes, but you don't want to do that. You go anything Medicaid, they're gonna treat you like crap.
I've seen Medicaid patients when they have children, and then when they get some money, they actually buy greater health and care, and they treated me and my baby like crap. Especially women on welfare, they'll literally almost cry at the thought of how their child was treated. How like when they have private insurance and they say, listen, I want to space these vaccine shots out. You're on Medicare, they tell you when you're gonna get these all right now, and don't you ask for nothing else and get on out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that kind of attitude. Instead of how it should be is, okay, you're a concerned parent. We'll space these out for you. You just come back next month. And that's shameful. That's really shameful that we have that kind of attitude in America.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
No, I'm saying, but the thing is basically is that you gotta hustle now. Don't wait. Use your money wisely. Use your money to invest in something that's going to bring you more money. Don't spend your money on things, materialistic stuff, to impress people that don't even like you in the first place.
I think minimalism is coming back. It's coming back because just oversaturated apartments. People are just throwing crap in these apartments, throwing crap in storage units, and they're losing the crap. And it's almost like, is all that stuff worth it?
Yeah.
That's usually the first thing that happens when people go through a foreclosure or something's about to happen to them major. They sell all the stuff. They sell all the stuff. All the stuff is gone.
Yeah.
So how do you plan to this fall in business promote and scale? Like my thing is, I'm always saying I want to grow my businesses to a certain level, right? I don't want to be a bonsai tree. I want to be an actual tree, right? So what are some things you're going to do this fall and this spring when Donald Trump comes in?
Well, what I'm doing now is I'm taking, Ryan Dice has about 9 certifications. So I just went ahead and took some action on that last week, about 2 weeks ago. But anyway, so I'm getting all 9 of those certifications. All I'm trying to do now is create more wealth. And then once that money comes in, then the next thing I'm looking to do is to get into real estate. I'm always looking for smaller businesses. Like I was interested in Amazon FBA, looking for another product for Etsy. Basically using that money to create even more money and then put it in like these tax shelters, like in real estate and things like that. So that's my strategy that I'm using.
Okay, so I think that's really important. Nano degrees is what they call them. Nano degrees. So that I would even put certifications as under nano degrees, because you're learning the equivalent of something that will make you $20,000-$30,000 a year income in a very short amount of time.
Yep.
And I think that's where we're going. That's why I noticed in my hometown, the community college was like 20, was like, I think it was a total of 7,000 people were going to the community college. 3,000 people were going to the historically Black college a mile down the street, and the mile further up the street, the private college in town had 2,000 people. So the community college had double the enrollment, even those other 2 schools combined, they still had 2,000 more students. Why? Because students know the trades and the skills are necessary.
They are.
They're vital.
They are.
The difference in a guy making $80,000 a year and a guy making $30,000 a year is life-changing. Right now,
once they get that money, what can they do with it? They can put it somewhere, because you don't have to live off of that $80,000.
There's 2 stats that blew my mind the night of the election. They were saying 1 in 6 young men 18 to 34 are either incarcerated, live at home with their parents, or have a low-paying job. Now, then they said 1 in 3 young men, if you just separate the crime and all that other stuff, 1 in 3 men in 19 to 34 live at home. Almost 1 in 3.
Mhm.
30%. Now, what is that coming from? To me, it's a combination of things. Lack of pushing that extra time to work an extra job, right?
Yeah.
Or get a trade.
Mhm.
Two, low marriage rates, right? Because the guy who's married they say what you will, he's going to make more money and he's going to push for more certifications because he's got a family to feed.
Yep.
So the guy who's living
Mhm.
at home chilling with mom and dad, there's no push.
Nothing.
There's no push in adulthood. There's no drive to impress ladies because you can't bring them back to your apartment. There's no I'm gonna clean my apartment up because the girl's coming
Mhm.
over. You at your mama house. There ain't
Yeah.
nobody coming over there, right? Hopefully not. That's a little weird, but um, I think that's a big part of what's going on in America. And I made a joke about the Haitians coming in right now at the border.
Mhm.
How I don't know if you know the situation, but like when the Olympics was like, we need workers, really dirt poor workers, poorer than Brazil, right?
Mhm.
They've let 100,000 Haitians come in.
Mm.
Well, now the Olympics is over. They were like, we're going to send some of y'all home. Well, the Haitians are like, no, no, no. We'll get to America. From Brazil, you have thousands of Haitians going through all the several countries, making it to Mexico. And guess what the Mexicans are doing? They're changing some of the taco stands to Haitian food stands
Wow.
because it's that much of an influx in some of the towns because some of the towns have United States embassies where you can kind of connect and you're waiting to hear
Mhm.
back. So you're just sitting there. So when the Mexicans were like, they're hungry. They don't like tacos. What do they
Mhm.
like? Oxtails? I can get some of that. Rice? I can
Mhm.
get some of that. Plantains? Oh, we can get some of that. And
Yeah.
that to me is the key to business is seeing where it's moving, right? Because these Haitians, I made a joke with my friend. I said, if you look at the Mexican population,
Mhm.
you have 30 million unique signatures like sent from Western Union a
Yeah.
year. So imagine $30 million going to Mexico and South America, $100 a week.
Mhm.
That's $300 million or so. It's a big number a week,
Yeah.
basically going home into those countries. Of course, less Mexicans are coming. They've been sending money home to their cousins for years. They have paid
Mhm.
off houses, paid off cars. There's no need to come now.
Now,
Now
who do
further
you
country.
now who do you
But
think when we go to these resorts? Who do you think own these resorts? A lot of these people, they're people that were living in the U.S. who sent their
mm-hmm.
money home, and they're building businesses over there.
Yeah. Oh yes. And like so, I was joking with her. I was saying if we got those 100,000 Haitians, eventually some of them are going to stay in those other countries. They're just going to work and stay. It is what it is. But if there's only 10 million Haitians total in the island. If you had 1 million of those Haitians come to America, I promise you within 3 years, Haiti would look like Miami
Yeah.
because they would, if those million people would send $100 a week home, if they had nothing left in their pocket but $100, they'd send it. And that's $100 million going home a week.
Mhm.
And that country would be, in 2 years, it'd be different. I wouldn't even give it three. I'd give it two.
You know, Erica, one thing that I don't think we understand about immigrants is that their why is different. Like, if we haven't talked to our mom in the U.S. in 2 weeks, we're like, oh, I miss talking to my mom. Let me call her back. Let me call her. Or go visit her if it's been 6 months. You're talking about people who has left their whole family back and haven't seen them in years. So when they come to these shores, they're not playing around. They'll take 3 jobs. And they're like, well, you only get 2 hours of sleep. Exactly. Because I have a plan to send my money back because I eventually want to go back. So I'm not here to mess around or even. I know so many immigrants who haven't seen their family in over a decade.
Oh
Is
yeah,
it your
I don't know if you saw the video that went viral of the big, tall, 6'4" guy. He came from Africa, and his younger brother was in the den surprising him, and he was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
And then his
he
mom was
broke
around the
down
corner,
crying.
and he just broke down. He hadn't seen his mom in 10 years. Imagine not seeing your mom in 10 years,
And
and you
and
have a wife and a child, but you are a 6'4" man crying on the floor because you have not seen your mom in 10 years.
when I saw that video, I couldn't believe it. It just like you see a guy that looks like a giant basically turn into a little boy instantly because he hadn't saw his mom. And that's what people don't get. Like Les Brown, anyone says if your why is different, it will show up in your daily life. And that's why immigrants work their ass off because that's what they're here on a mission.
Oh God, I basically was working 2 or 3 jobs before I left Austin before. And
Mhm.
people be like, "Why are you working so hard, girl? You need to relax, girl. You stop doing all this stuff, girl." And I said, my why isn't like my friends. My friends, their only
Mm.
goal was to go on vacations all year. I'm
Yeah.
gonna use my extra money for vacations, and they live in apartments, and I'm like, that's not winning to me, right? Vacations are great, but if you're using vacations as a way to escape your life, and vacations aren't just a part of your life, like a normal, I'm going on vacation, whatever. When you're like, a vacation, I need it, something's wrong in that equation.
You're
And
right.
that was always my, like, that's my why, because I want to eventually own rentals and then can go when I want.
Yeah, and you're only spending a small percentage of your money, and that money's passive. That's the thing. People aren't working for passive income. They're not trying to build passive income. They're just making money, spending, making money, spending.
Spend it. Got a new car. You know, everybody was like, oh, I feel like an adult now. I have an SUV. What does that mean? It makes you feel like an adult. A paid off car note makes me feel like an adult.
Yeah. But it's like I said, it's all that keeping up with the Joneses type stuff. They feel value in their life, like I'm actually doing things in my life. You know, I'm driving a nice car. And maybe they're still living in an apartment, whatever. They have nice clothes, but that's not success. That's not success at all. But it starts with you. We gotta read the financial books. We gotta hire the coaches. We gotta do those things that raise our value.
That's true. Well, look, I don't want to suck up all your time. We've been on here about an hour.
Yeah.
So now that we know you're going to be scaling your business, you're going to be growing, you're going to be investing in real estate, you've got some things you're doing. You're going to write any more books anytime soon?
I'm actually revising the book I have now because I said I want to get that to a bestseller. So I'm actually in the process now of changing that and adding more value to that book.
And you basically recommended Ryan Dice, right?
Ryan Dice, he's the marketing guy. His name has been coming up.
Yep.
I put some things out to the universe, and that name keeps coming up. So I said, you know what? After I get off the call with you, I'm gonna be taking a test to pass one of my certifications.
Yeah, I think it's important to get those certifications. I know Ryan Dice. I saw some of the videos he did. He's like, if you have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, there's no reason you shouldn't be getting $1 a month per subscriber. And it's true. And so when I see these subscribers with millions of people following them and they're not making any sales, I'm like, you're doing it wrong, baby. I mean, if you notice some people just have one book, or if they're a fitness person, they have like 4 shirts, and those shirts sell out every month.
Yeah.
Because people want people, when they like a channel, they watch a channel, they are into it, they want to purchase. So giving people that option is great. So I'm glad you recommended Nano Degrees. You recommended you're revising your book because you want it to be a bestseller. Look, thank you for your time. I know it's Saturday. It's beautiful outside, probably where you are. It's not winter yet, thank God. But
thank God.
like, oh, give me a break. But thank you for sharing your reaction to Donald Trump winning, and you didn't die. So
yeah, I'm still alive. And thank you, Erica, for having me. I appreciate that.
No problem. Hey, everybody, you can check out Muhammad. Please tell them where they can check you out at.
Well, you can find me on YouTube under How to Find Your Passion Now. HowToFindYourPassionNow.com will be up right now. I'm building my whole marketing funnel, so I'm changing. It's not up right now, but go to YouTube and find me at How to Find Your Passion Now. I have over 1,000 videos, so a lot of videos that keep you over
there. Got you. All right, everybody. This is Erica, Classy Climb Blog. President Trump won. Just catching up with business owners' reactions. We're still alive.
Yes.
You guys have a great day.